Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Ban with Retro Handhelds, or if you couldn't tell, it's Ban's hands. And today, we're taking a look at a brand new vertical. This is actually one that I have been personally excited about. Oh, if it stops spinning. The TrimUI Brick. This one was sent over by MechDIY, but I mean, it's a TrimUI Brick. I was gonna take a look at one regardless. This is the fourth entry from TrimUI following the Model S, the TrimUI Smart, as well as the TrimUI Smart Pro. So let's see if they've kind of learned from their past and kind of have something that works for them now. When it comes to pricing, if you were to get this from MechDIY, at the time of writing this, it's $79.99 for the version that's just the console with no games, but there is a 20% off coupon that brings it down to, I want to say it takes $16 off, so it'll bring it down to $63, $64, which all things considered is not that bad when you compare it to some of the other marketplaces out there. Let's start with just the box. Purpose built to spark your imagination. Not to be alarmed, but I have seen that before on other TrimUI products. Let's see, fast boot, 3.2 inch, WLAN versus stereo speaker, Type-C, brick, black. What looks to be just like a couple of the extra added in features. But hey, it's a nice box. So let's take a look. When it comes to specifications, you're looking at the same Allwinner A133P that came in the TrimUI Smart Pro, which means you're getting the PowerVR GE8300 GPU. You're getting 1 gig of RAM. You're getting a 3000 milliamp hour battery. But the big star of the show on this one, to me at least, is that 3.2 inch 1024 by 768 panel. Now that may seem familiar, but that's the same panel as the RGB20 Pro. Oh, that is a clean looking device. I like that a lot, actually. Oh, it's even got the TrimUI emblem engraved. But what else is in here? Looks like they've included a 64 gigabyte micro SD card, the instruction manual. Okay, it's another one of those accordion style ones, but I don't feel like playing that today. A USB-C cable, USB-C to USB-A. I think I have about 700 of these. But what's interesting is they included, oh my gosh, I thought it was just going to be 2, but this is 5 different sets of shoulder buttons. They are at different heights, they're at different sizes, but this means you can open up the back of your TrimUI Smart Pro. I don't even know, do you need to open up the back? No, you can just pop off one of the shoulder buttons on your TrimUI Brick. I said brick, I mean brick each time I say it. And you can change out the shoulder buttons. I didn't realize it would just be pop off. Okay, maybe it's not as easy as it sounds. At least L2 and R2 are super easy to take off. R1 and L1 maybe not so much. Oh, you gotta do the peel. That's clean. Now I'm not gonna put the screen protector on it. That's more of a Stubbs thing to mess up. I don't want to be responsible for it. Outside of all of the extra shoulder buttons, there's not a whole lot of extra stuff. Let me get the micro SD card out. What really kind of got my attention was just kind of the size of this thing. It's super small, and I don't know if I've ever said it, but I'm not personally a fan of the Miyoo Mini, just due to kind of its shape and ergonomics overall. This could be a nice little replacement. I kind of brought a couple of handhelds with me so I could kind of get a size comparison. I don't do these a whole lot anymore, but it's nice to see for handhelds a lot of people are talking about. It's nice to kind of see, how do they compare? Because This is an R33S. It's the same size as a Miyoo Mini Plus, but it runs a Rockchip 3326 and has a horrible screen protector applied, not by me. But like, look at that. They're almost, hold on. The TrimUI Brick is just slightly taller with a 3.5-inch screen. It's just a little bit wider with a little bit more chin on the brick. It'll probably feel a little bit nicer in hand. The one thing that I was kind of interested in was how it compares to the RGB20 Pro, because these have the same screen, 3.2 inches, 1024 by 768, 4:3, and it's not even close. Like, I knew the Powkiddy would be larger, but I did not assume it would be tremendously longer. Like, this is 1 1/3 the height of a brick. And if you kind of hold one on top of the other, yeah, it's a little bit thinner too. The RGB20 Pro is like a comfortable, like, monster of a handheld. On the left side, you've got volume up and down. On the right side, you've got power and what looks like that power function switch that was on the TrimUI Smart Pro. On the top, you have an RGB bar. And actually, while I'm here, there is a USB-C port right between the shoulder buttons, which you get all four. And on the bottom, you get a micro SD card slot, a reset button, another USB-C port, thank you, as well as a headphone jack, which some handhelds this year did not include. Okay, I do like this little accent that's like teal power button. So let's get this turned on. One interesting thing is that the start and select buttons that are kind of up top, they're RGB, so they're actually glowing. Looks like you have some more lights underneath the shoulder buttons, as well as that like bar light right on the back. Talking about buttons, the buttons are kind of going to be that clicky TrimUI style button that we've seen on everything so far, which it's not bad. If you like clicky buttons, I think this is probably going to be your favorite handheld. On the back, the shoulder buttons, they're clicky as well, but it's nothing terrible. Then on the front, you have what looks like a pretty clicky set of face buttons. Well, I mean, not face button, but like menu buttons. The RGB buttons are a little bit clicky as well. Okay, they've preloaded a number of ports onto this thing. Whether that's something you like is up to you. I'm not the biggest fan of it, but at the same time, I'm not really gonna stop anyone. It's got Moonlight, media player, USB storage. There's a lot of, oh, they've got RetroArch. Well, I was gonna open Sonic Mania, but when they put Celeste right in front of me, how can I say no? Going off of the sound of the speakers, it's actually not bad. Here, I'm gonna turn it up. Oh, it's getting loud. The D-pad feels exactly like the TrimUI Smart Pro D-pad, but I think it's a little bit smaller. I could be wrong, and what better way to figure that out with a TrimUI Smart Pro? And now that I'm looking at it, these D-pads are the same size. At that point, it might just be a situation of smaller device, smaller places to grip. Oh, makes it feel like a little bit of a smaller device. But honestly, it doesn't feel too bad. Let's try Sonic Mania. Offset Sega, offset boot menu, offset Sonic. I'm curious if it's going to be like offset in-game or if it's just the menus that are leaving it like that. Hey, you guys, you left your saves here. Would you like to pick them up? Initial impressions of the Brick are actually pretty nice. It's a little solid handheld. I will probably be one of those people that turns the RGB off. The shoulder buttons feel fine, But this is one of those devices you do have to be careful about how you hold. If you're one of those people that really crams your hands into it, it's going to be a bit of a tight fit. If you're someone who can like stretch out, kind of give it some space, you might find that this is actually pretty nice. Oh, there we go. Okay, good news. The game is in fact like, you can see the game. With the A133 Plus, you're gonna get basically arcade 3566 performance, which really, to me at least, is up to PlayStation 1, and then N64, Dreamcast, PSP. You're not going to do everything. You're not going to do everything perfectly. But what's there will be nice. What is the competition for this? Honestly, I would say it's a lot of vertical handhelds, but in particular, I would kind of say the RGB20 Pro if you want that nice high-resolution screen. You're getting something that's a lot bigger with a lot larger of a battery. You're mostly buying it because it looks cool. And it's really about the same price as the TrimUI Brick. Other competition, I would probably say, well, the Miyoo Mini and the Miyoo Mini Plus. They're, a couple of devices that are pretty close in size. It's nothing too crazy. If you want a little bit of a higher resolution screen, that's great. My biggest issue when comparing to these two especially is the price. Right now, you can get a Miyoo Mini or a Miyoo Mini Plus off of AliExpress for like $40. That's anywhere from $10 to $20 to $30 less than the TrimUI Brick, depending on where you get it. Going off of initial impressions, it's a little bit of a clicky device. If you like clicky devices, that's fine. You're not getting sticks, you're not getting anything too fancy, but what you are getting feels ridiculously solid for the price. Would I recommend it off of first impressions? I mean, yeah, if you could get it for a decent price, maybe, but it's also personal preference. If you don't like verticals, obviously go for something like the Smart Pro. If you want something larger, there are larger options. If you want something smaller, there are smaller options. But this kind of falls into that, nice category right in the middle where it does a lot right. It feels nice. I'd be happy with it. If you're sticking around this long, make sure to keep an eye out on the website, retrohandhelds.gg, as well as on the YouTube channel. You're going to see something from likely Stubbs. You're going to see a written article for 24-hour first impressions from me, review probably from someone else on the team. Tell me, would you get a brick? Personally, I would rather have the one that's red. Wait, how could I forget? 4 colors: white, red, black, and purple. Anyways, keep an eye out on the YouTube channel. Keep an eye out on the website. And as always, hey, thanks for watching.